This is Talk is Sheep, a podcast by the Wild Sheep Society of British Columbia. Come along as we take conversations that matter to you into the high alpine.
Happy New Year, brother.
Oh, God. I'm still hungover. Not really. I don't drink that much, but I had to say it, right? play the role.
So 2023 is here. It's happening and incredible. Amazing.
Oh,
hard to believe.
Yeah. 22, 21, and 20 dragged on. And then you look back at it and you go, damn, it went quick. As it tends to do when you get to our age, right?
Yeah, well, and I got 10 years on you, so yeah.
Yeah, you don't look a day over it, though. I'm the one with the gray hair.
So what a way to start off the new year. We bring the Eastern chapter boys on the podcast, and this was a bit of tough work for them. We had to record and then re-record. Mm-hmm. So thanks to all three of them. So we had Doug Bennett, Rob Rogan, and Steve Quisenberry on the podcast. And we got caught up in all things Eastern chapter of the Wild Sheep Foundation. It was a great chat with these guys.
Oh, round two. It was even more fun. I had a blast the first time listening to them, but yeah, recording issues showed up, and the wizarding abilities of me, I couldn't make it work. It was just a nightmare with recording. There's dropped audio, but yeah, really appreciate them coming back on for round two, and I think it's going to be a good listen for everybody.
Yeah, so we'll jump into more of that in a second, but for those of you that signed up as a member in the last few months of the year, we had our membership promotion, so we will have announced the winner now, so if you didn't get the call, sorry, but thanks again to our conservation partners for all the great support to make this happen. So one of our lucky new members came up with $1,000 gift certificate or opportunity to spend with our conservation partners. So Precision Optics, Stone Glacier, Swarovski, Sitka Gear, Yeti, and our Gunworks, all six. Great opportunity to support them. And somebody walked away with $1,000 that can spend with any one of those great sponsors of our conservation initiatives. So if you missed out, we do have something for you still. So we've got the new Wild Sheep Foundation Weatherby Thin Horn Edition rifle that we're going to give away. It's going to be given away at our Life Member Breakfast on March 11th. So we're giving this away to one lucky Life Member. You don't have to be in attendance to win. You don't have to buy anything. If you're a Life Member, if you're on our list on the day we draw it on March 11th by the end of our Life Member Breakfast, you're in to win this rifle. And all you need to do is sign up as a Life Member. Monarchs get extra chances. If you want more chances to win, come to the Life Member Breakfast in Kamloops, and you get extra chances to win as well. So we're going to draw the winner of that at our Life Member Breakfast. This is a $6,000, $7,000 rifle package.
It's beautiful.
It's got it's absolutely stunning, gorgeous. And you don't need to do anything. You just need to be a Life Member. So if you're thinking about signing up as a Life Member, this is the time to do it. You're going to get your name in for that drawing. If you think you might want to up the game and become a Monarch, you get extra chances. And if you want even more chances, come to Life Member Breakfast, and you're going to get a great opportunity. So,
yeah, this thing's it's a 6.5 RPM, right? It's with a loopholed scope. It's jacked. Looking at the pictures of it, I want it.
Yeah, it's got a loopholed VX5 HD. I run that exact scope on my Gunworks setup, and I love it. Absolutely stunning scope and beautiful, and comes with a Boyd hard case, and just absolutely incredible setup. And somebody's going to be pretty darn happy with that Life Member.
Super limited edition too, right? It's Thin Horn Edition they're calling it. It's got the logo on the floor plate. Chadwick Ram is on the action. I want the damn thing, so I'm tempted to Monarch up again.
Yeah, carbon barrel as well. It's got a carbon barrel on it. So yeah, you're and as you know, you're automatically in as a Life Member, so you don't have to do anything. And just to be clear, you don't need to be at the Life Member Breakfast. Yeah, you get extra chances if you show up on top of it, but you don't need to be there. So if you can't make Kamloops for whatever reason, but you're thinking about upping your chances as a Life or Monarch member, just go and buy a membership. It's that easy.
Mm-hmm. So, I want that gun.
Love to have you sign up, and yeah, for sure. Even my name's in the drawing on that one. So But of course, I could never win anything. 'Cause,
I feel that pain.
Oh goodness.
My name's been in there so many times, and I just, no, you haven't drawn it yet. But one day.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. What else do we have for you?
Kamloops.
Kamloops tickets are on sale.
Yeah,
so
they're almost sold.
Get your tickets. Tom Foss is the keynote. Got a great presentation from him. We got great seminars. Got Adam Foss doing a mountain hunting seminar. We got tons of stuff this year. You guys are going to love it. So this is the first time we've been together in a few years, and we're planning something really special for you. We've upped the number of tickets this year. We've increased our vendor exhibitor space. So things are looking really good for that. So get over to wildsheepsociety.com, go to Kamloops Convention AGM, and get signed up.
Yep, that's pretty awesome. We got a fun-filled, exciting 2023 planned, and this is the first podcast of it. So I think we're good.
Awesome. So with that, we're going to hear from the good guys and gals over at the Eastern chapter of the Wild Sheep Foundation. You're going to hear lots about what they're doing. They got a bunch of great programs. I'm honored to be a life member with these guys. And you'll hear on the podcast that the first 3 people that sign up as a member with the Eastern chapter, I'm going to buy you a membership to Wild Sheep Society BC. So if you're thinking about joining either one, go over, buy a membership there. And Rob's going to keep an eye on it. And the first 3 people that sign up from this podcast, we're going to buy you a membership to Wild Sheep Society of BC. Just a regular 1 year. I'm not buying a life membership. Sorry. But love to have you join their cause. Love to have you join our cause. So with that, episode 107, Eastern chapter of the Wild Sheep Foundation. Enjoy.
The perception of hunting, has changed. It's our duty now, our responsibility as hunters, to change it back. And we've spent the last few decades trying, espousing that message, preaching that message about wildlife conservation. It's fallen on deaf ears, all of our attempts. I think what we have to do is maybe appeal to the emotional side or the visceral side. We have to tell our story. We know what we are. We know how deeply we care about wildlife. It's just the people out there that are voting to get rid of hunting, they don't understand our stories. Sometimes we have to translate it to something that they understand.
So for our listeners, we tried this a few weeks back and had some technical issues, and you guys are great and humored us, and you came back on the podcast. So we're doing take 2 here. So we're expecting perfect answers. So we're joined today by 3 great guys from the Eastern Chapter Wild Sheep Foundation, and I don't use those terms lightly. And we got to know you on the last podcast and had some good laughs, and we're going to do the same again tonight. So I guess we'll just go around the screen here, and we'll start with you, Rob, and just get a little background on who you are and why you showed up tonight.
Absolutely. Thanks, Kyle. So, so Robert Rogan, president of the Eastern Chapter of the Wild Sheep Foundation. Been involved with the chapter for probably the better part, somewhere between 8 and 10 years. I really don't know when I started. It's all kind of a blur at this point, and for some reason the board was kind enough to nominate me into this seat. So, trying to be pivotal and making a difference with direction of the chapter and kind of where things are going. But a little bit about my background. I didn't grow up as a hunter. I actually didn't start hunting until my mid-20s. I went on a bird hunt as a goof for a bachelor party and just had such a great time. And that kind of led to deer hunting, and that quickly led to exploring all the game out west and mountain hunting, which led directly to sheep. And like I said, 8-10 years ago, I found this chapter that was not far from my home in New York, and I met some guys like Doug Bennett and Steve Quisenberry. You guys are going to meet here in just a second, and found a good home. And it's been nothing but a pleasure to associate with these folks over that amount of time. So
thank you for stepping up in that role. I know that president of a chapter is not an easy task. So there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of responsibility, and pretty cool to do that, and awesome. So, Doug, over to you.
Yeah, Doug Bennett. I'm actually Rob's assistant, aka the vice president of Eastern Chapter. Unlike Rob, I did grow up hunting, and started probably when I was 3 years old, hunting with my dad bow hunting. So, grew up reading the old outdoor lives when they had old Fred Bear in there, shooting the old longbow, going around the world. Dreamed of hunting. Started hunting out west probably in my 30s, and met a guy from Eastern Chapter in 2011, and man, it changed my life and changed my world. Became part of the Eastern Chapter, and knew I always wanted to hunt sheep. And about 5 or 6, 7 sheep hunts later, here I am, and addicted as always. So it's been a good ride, and a good we good friends like Rob and Steve and everybody that's involved in the chapter. It's been a great family for me. So
awesome, very cool. And Quiz, over to you, Steve Quisenberry.
I hunted most of my life as a youngster. Went to college and played some sports, and kind of fell into the college routine and stopped hunting. And then in my early 30s, kind of picked it back up. And I found the wild sheep organizations and sheep hunting through Doug Bennett about 4 years ago. We're fortunate here on the East Coast. We can offshore fish in the Gulf Stream for tuna, mahi, marlin, whatever. And when you're on a fishing boat with a group of 3 or 4 guys drinking beer, you talk about everything. And he started describing very passionately his sheep hunts and his participation in sheep hunting. And I mean, from that conversation on, I just went 150% at it. And I was fortunate enough to book a couple hunts, harvest some sheep, and got involved with Eastern. It's my home chapter, but I actually won the first year I even had heard about them. I played the lottery, and I always tell people you can't win if you don't play. So I played their lottery for the Wyoming Governor's Bighorn Tag, and they pulled my ticket, so I won it. And then after that, I thought I'd play it forward, so I joined them. I joined Wyoming, both of them as a life member, since they kind of were the root for the tag. And then fortunate to meet everybody, and then they asked me to be on the board, and so now I'm on the board, and I'm still going 150%. I tell people all the time, if I'd moved to an area, whether it was BC or Wyoming or one of the Dakotas, if I'd moved to an area and started hunting in the Rocky Mountains in my 30s or 40s, for anything, sheep, elk, anything, I would be living there right now. But that's kind of my story.
Awesome, Steve. Cool story. A bunch of things I want to touch on, but let's start off with, for some of our listeners, a lot of people in the Wild Sheep Foundation world have a really good understanding of who and what Eastern does, but there's probably people out there that don't know. And so you guys are a long way from any wild sheep, and sheep hunting, I hear, isn't that great in Pennsylvania these days. So maybe Rob, do you want to jump on that and just talk a little bit about how Eastern exists and how you capture the members you do, and kind of some of the work that you guys do. If we're raising sheep in our backyard, or raising money for sheep in our backyard here in BC, and pretty easy to get buy-in. You guys have a bit more of a challenge in that regard, is that you're sending money for sheep elsewhere. So let's talk a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So thanks, Kyle. I mean, it really is. It's a unique challenge, but also a unique opportunity that Eastern has, right? Obviously, engaging many folks that probably for most of their lives have only hunted, whitetail, turkey, upland bird, waterfowl, things to that nature. Engaging those folks in, a species that they've never seen before. Everybody's seen a mule deer, everybody's seen an elk, everybody's seen an antelope, right? But many of these folks have never seen a wild sheep, and I could tell you just from the conversations I have around my local community, which is short distance outside of New York City, they don't even know that the United States has wild sheep, right? So engaging people to be passionate and to get behind a conservation initiative is a challenge. But the one thing, when you do engage those people, like myself, like Doug, like Quiz, like our board, like all of our members, right? The thing that's interesting is we get 110% behind it, and we know how important it is to make sure that resource is around for the next generation, right? And it's something that many of us that support this organization won't even have an opportunity to maybe hunt at any point in our lives because of the limited opportunity to draw a tag, win a tag, win a raffle, whatever it may be. But people support it because once they understand the need, they also understand that our chapter is unique in that we really can support and fund the areas that most need our support, that most need the funding, because like you said, Kyle, we don't have sheep in our backyard. We can send our money to any state, any province, anywhere that needs the maximum amount of help. And it's proof positive in Wyoming, and I'm sure we're going to touch on that later on the podcast, but it's just that our organizations like ours, there's a few other chapters that don't have sheep within the kind of boundaries in which they represent. They can make a difference in areas that have sheep, that have need, that maybe are underfunded. So that's where Eastern stands.
Right on. So, it's interesting too. You look at the Wild Sheep Foundation proper, like the mothership and national, whatever you want to call it. I think that was born out of the Midwest, right? I think it was Minnesota. It started up or something like that. So it was, it wasn't, it didn't start in Montana. It didn't start out west, right? So I thought it was pretty interesting that, a group of conservationists, and I guess that's one of the inspiring things about wild sheep is, a lot of people, like you said, Rob, they're not even out there hunting sheep. And you guys are sending your money to Wyoming, and you've been generous. You've sent it to British Columbia, to Texas. So, so on that note, I'm not sure who wants to tackle this. If you want to jump in, Doug, but someone talk a little bit about where those funds go. What projects do you support? How do you figure that out? Who do you work with, and that process, if you don't mind. Some of the projects, anyway.
Yeah, so over the last few years, again, this is Rob. I'll tackle that one. We've been very fortunate to partner with a lot of the different chapters and funding projects, and I know right here in BC we've put back about $30,000 over the past few years. I know 3 years ago I think it was the Dome Mountain Stone Sheep Habitat. Last year it was the Nature Trust and Wilderness Stewardship Foundation, and this year I know we were working with Mike Serby, and we were helping to fund that capture, collaring, and study of the sheep in the Kamloops Lake and South Thompson herd, just because I know the survival there has not been as good as many of the other herds in those regions, and again, it's an area that needed our attention. So we've got a good partnership with BC, again looking to build upon that in years going forward. We've got a really strong partnership with Wyoming. Many years ago they started to support us with providing with us with a governor's tag. We started to raffle that off, and we adopted a sheep herd out in Wyoming. We installed a guzzler for our herd. We funded predator control, funded a transplant, where there's been just an absolutely amazing lamb recruitment. And starting this year, our herd is now being evaluated to be used as a source herd for other areas in the state. So that's been great. In Alaska, we support APHA, the Alaska Professional Hunters Association. They protect hunters' rights, youth events. I mean, again, kind of run the full gamut of, why conservation is so important. In Colorado and Idaho in the last couple of years, we supported, I guess, the Danlick Mesa and Crooked Creek sheep grazing allotments, right? So basically making sure that domestic sheep and wild sheep are prevented from mingling to prevent the spread of pneumonia. In Texas this year, we supported the purchase of a new technology where rather than it taking 2 weeks to go from capturing, testing, getting the results, and basically defining what's going to happen with the sheep, to an hour turnaround on examination of sheep to make a decision. should they be allowed to be, released back into the wild, or do we have to take these critters out of, out of circulation because they're spreading MOVI to other animals? And also, that same technology is going to be utilized to study if the aoudad in those regions are actually being a cause or a catalyst to spreading MOVI. The aoudad in those areas they're prolific foragers. They're very hardy. So we're trying to understand in Texas if aoudad are outgrazing, outfeeding, outcompeting the sheep, or is it simply that they're spreading disease? So again, more that we're looking to study there, and again, it's an area that we're funding, and obviously for our youth, both nationally and locally, Ryan Brock through National, we support those guys. They come to our event every single year. They do a great job with our youth, and organizations like the Cameron County Youth Organization locally, just getting behind our youth, instilling the importance of conservation, and just making sure that the next generation has a good foundation to kind of build upon for the years ahead.
Right on, Rob. And on that note, literally 3 days ago, the guys were out in the field capturing those sheep. So Eastern Chapter stepped up this spring with a donation to this project. It's our South Thompson, Kamloops Lake project. So there's 750 bighorns. It's down 50%. We got 375 left. We don't really know why. We got a bunch of things that we think we know why. There's certainly coyote predation, a whole bunch of other stuff. But anyway, they were out on the landscape here this last week. They caught 40 bighorns and collared them. So we're happy to report really successful project at least in the getting the collars on the landscape. And hopefully over this next year, we'll have a really good understanding of what's going on so that we can put some management actions to use. So thank you to Eastern Chapter for making that a reality for us. And without your support, we couldn't have done it. So I think we bought $52,000 worth of collars. So that gives you an idea. And we haven't got our bill for the helicopter time, but it's not going to be cheap. So huge support from you guys, and thank you. So Rob, you talked about your event. You talked about youth, so I guess that's kind of a nice segue. We can talk about projects again here in a bit because I know you guys do a ton of stuff, and you gave us a great overview. But if you guys want to, when do you guys want to jump into the fundraiser? What you guys do? I know in Lancaster you have a great event there, and just hear some great things about. I've never had the opportunity to go. I know Gray's coming out. There's your keynote this year. Really excited about that. So I'd love to hear about what does your fundraiser look like. Dates? Can people still buy tickets? What does that look like?
Yeah, so the dates are February 17th and 18th of next year. Tickets are definitely still available. We always put on a really good event. On it's a Friday and Saturday. The Saturday there's a huge youth event that we do. Again, just trying to instill the next generation to, recruit them and maybe motivate the next board of directors to say, hey, look, in 15 years I could be where these old guys are, right? So that'll be that's the goal there with the youth event, and making sure that they understand how important conservation is for our wild spaces and places. But the event is always a great time. We've got a great group of exhibitors that always shows up. We have an awesome gala that goes on both Friday and Saturday evenings. We have live auctions, silent auctions, the raffles, as you guys will see, emails. It's available on our website, which we'll talk about. But really, it's just it's a lot of fun. It's a good group of people, and we're always welcome to have new folks join us.
Right on. So when you guys host this, do you guys get a lot of local people, or is it people coming from all over kind of the East Coast, or what kind of people are showing up to the event? I know, for instance, when we go to Sheep Week, a lot of locals will come to the exhibits and that sort of stuff, but a lot of people fly in too. So what does it look like?
Yeah, we have a very diverse group of people that come in. Of course, we have exhibitors that come from around the world, whether it be New Zealand, Africa, British Columbia, of course, Canada's well represented at our show. But we do get a lot of locals from PA, but then being the only chapter on the East Coast, of course, we do get, people like me and Quiz. We live 6 hours from where the show is. We get a lot of people from New York, Jersey. I mean, I don't know that we get people from Florida. I mean, we pull a larger crowd. It's not a huge crowd per se, but it's, I think our average attendance is, for our banquet dinners is 400-ish, right in that range. Am I correct, Rob, when I say that? But it's a family and it's people we know. And every year it seems like we get somebody new. I remember when Rob came for the first time, we kind of voted to let him keep coming. So, but no, it's a great group of people, and we do get a very geographically diverse crowd that comes in.
Right on. So talk a little bit about the youth events. You talked about Dr. Ryan Brock, and I know Ryan through Wild Sheep Foundation. He supports a lot of chapter and affiliates events. What goes on with you guys? What do you guys do at your show there for the youth?
Yeah, so really, again, it's a great opportunity because it's the middle of February, right? There's not a lot going on out in the wilds, and people are kind of hunkered down for the winter, right? So, they've got everything from BB gun, target shoot. They've got a 3D laser shoot, but they also have all the biologists come out, right? From everything from wild sheep to the Keystone guys that basically manage the elk in our area. Again, Pennsylvania elk, does that sound right? But yeah, there's actually a decent herd of elk in our area, and it just gets the kids engaged, and the Ducks Unlimited guys are there. They give out those, the duck calls to the kids, and the whole room blows up, about mid-afternoon with all the kids, with the duck calls. This year we have Pheasants Forever coming. We've got Trout Unlimited coming, and really the whole idea is explaining to our youth how all of these different ecosystems kind of play on one another, to educate them about why the preservation of all of it is just so damn important, right? So that's really what it comes down to, and we'll advertise, everywhere from local schools, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, local colleges, you name it. We're basically putting the word out there. Say, hey guys, come check this out, have a good time, join us, and our admission is free to get into the expo. So it's not even like there's a you can come spend an afternoon for absolutely $0.
One of the things I wanted to ask you guys about was one thing that stands out with Eastern for sure that I notice every single year is your raffle. So you guys have some pretty sweet setups, and you talk a little bit about what you're doing this year, but I understand there's some pretty lucky guys on this call that have won some raffles over the years. But historically, I remember you guys. There was a Corvette last year that I think you guys were raffling off. I think the year before that, you could get your FNAWs. So I think most of our listeners know what that's all about. So I see Doug's hands up there, and I like I said, we've done this before. We kind of know the answer here. So over to you, Doug. Let's talk about that raffle.
Yeah, so we already heard Quiz's lucky streak of drawing the Wyoming Bighorn tag, and I was fortunate enough to draw the FNAWs about 2019, I guess it was. That we gave away, and that's what really we give away these large hunts. This year, we're doing a bighorn hunt in BC with Carter. Am I correct, Rob, on that? We're also giving away a brown bear hunt, a Bighorn Edition rifle, and mountain caribou hunt. So it's all in one tag. You have four
mountain caribou
to win.
With gold. Yeah, golden bear.
That's the big raffle we do every year. And what's interesting about it is, for instance, a lot of people, the guy that won our Wyoming Bighorn tag last year, we did on a raffle. He bought one ticket. I bought one ticket. Quiz, I don't know how many tickets you bought. I think you bought more than 6. The year
6.
he won, but one ticket can win. And these hunts we're giving away are, quite frankly, for me, I have 3 kids, so I'm not going to go out and spend. We all know what a Wyoming Bighorn tag costs at an auction nowadays. I'm not going to spend that on a Wyoming Bighorn tag or necessarily FNAWs, to invest in a FNAWs all at one time. So it's a great chance for everybody to get in and win, not just somebody that's, to have a chance to sheep hunt or get a dream hunt of a brown bear or something and not have to, put out the big dollar amount that it is. So it evens the playing out for everybody. So,
and Kyle, I have to add, some of the topics we've already discussed. I'm fairly new to this whole environment. Seriously, I booked a hunt 4 years ago after talking to Doug, but I've been involved with Wild Sheep Foundation and the different chapters and going to Reno to Sheep Show for only 2 years. And what I'll tell you about the Eastern chapter is it's as much of an education chapter as it is, an active chapter. Because as Rob said earlier, we have people that come to our banquet, our fundraiser, that have hunted whitetail turkey, maybe black bear their whole life. And to watch their amazement as in the evolution of their mindset, for the conservation side of it and the potential hunting side of it, it's an incredible thing to watch. And I think if I had a message, maybe this is an ending statement, but if I had a message, it's that National Wild Sheep Foundation seems to be the catalyst for all the different chapters, and I want the other chapters to realize East Coast can be that as well, because as we've discussed, we don't have sheep. So we have the ability to GIA any organization and not rob from our own sheep, conservation. We don't have sheep. So, I walk around Reno at the Sheep Show introducing myself and shaking hands with all the chapters. And the conversations are just really, really fun for me because of the involvement we could bring to any organization, any wild sheep chapter in the world.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the inspirations about our wild sheep family, right? It truly is a family, Quiz. We talked about this last time, and I think and we all get into these leadership roles in these chapter affiliates because we think that way too, right? We that's the message we want to have. I've seen some competition in conservation. It's not. They say conservation is not competition, but it does happen to be like that sometimes. I don't feel like that with our community, and I certainly see. The Easterns of the world or the Midwests or the Iowa Fanaz and others too. But, there's really, truly a spirit of cooperation and a family approach to it. And, I'd like to hear your guys' kind of perspective on that. You've touched on that, Quiz, but because I look at it a little differently. Like we really do support other chapter and affiliates. Somebody comes to us and they need some help, and the cool one was that Nevada water haul 2 years ago, right? There was, do you guys remember the numbers on that? We raised over, I think it was $180,000 that were raised. I think almost every chapter and affiliate contributed, right? We sent $5,000 or $10,000 down to Nevada to support bighorns down there. I think it's one of the strengths of our organization and through the leadership of the foundation, but it doesn't. It starts there, but it doesn't stop there, right? If we didn't have the support of guys like you, we wouldn't have this one tent, one campfire approach that the foundation has, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say this.
I agree.
I've been around for 10 years, and I would say in the past 5 years, the strength of of all the chapters coming together has really flourished. Maybe in the beginning, we kind of competed against each other, whether it's for donations or whatever for our banquets, for our fundraisers. But it's been especially the past 5 years through everybody's leadership and understanding, hey, if we're uniting together, we're actually raising more money, making more of an impact. And as we all, get to know each other even better every year, we understand the fact that we're all working together. So if we support each other, then we're doubling our impact every time that we talk, basically, or doubling our resources. And that's been the biggest thing that I've noticed since I've been involved in the Wild Sheep Foundation, just from the chapter level, the support that each chapter gives to each other and understanding, hey, we're not working against each other. We're actually working with each other. And that's what makes the big difference for us.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's pretty cool to watch and see how everybody's on the same page. And that's the one thing we've talked about recently at the Wild Sheep Foundation is we've never seen more cooperation than we do, in this current state. I just, I'm not a long haul like you guys. I know, like you said, you've been around for 10 years. I haven't been in the game that long, but in the last 5 years, I've seen more cooperation these last 2 than we ever have, which is pretty cool. And I don't know if that there's bigger reasons for that too, beyond the obvious, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay, quiz. Yeah, perfect. Go.
That you talk about the cooperation. I'm 62 now, so I've got a couple small businesses, and so I have to go through this balancing act every year when I say retire, so I can actually travel around and see. Like my goal is to go to as many sheep fundraising Wild Sheep Foundation chapter banquets as I can go to. Right, go to yours. Go to Wyoming, go to all of them, Texas, Nevada. But if I retire and travel like that, I'm not going to be able to afford any more sheep hunts. So I have this little angel and devil every year. But I'm still working, so that tells you what's more important.
That's awesome, for sure. And there is a huge spirit of cooperation. Like you talked about it, you're a life member with Wyoming, you're a life member for obviously the Eastern, you're a life member with us in BC. And that's a common thing too, right?
488
Very
with
cool.
you.
So that seems to be a thing too, right? We see a lot of that, cross-contamination of memberships or life memberships. And I think that's pretty cool, to see that and the support that we give each other in that regard as well. So. All right, let's segue a little bit here. Let's talk about you, Quiz. So I'm a little curious that you said you're 62. I didn't realize you're that old. You hide it well. But you talked about, you grew up, deer hunting your whole life, and you kind of got it late, and it came late to this game. What is it about wild sheep? So, you're hook, line, and sinker. You're on the board now. You've got another huge accomplishment, which we're going to talk about in a second here. But what is it about? Why wild sheep? Why not like that with whitetail or mountain goats, or what was it about sheep?
I would probably say it's 3 things. The first is the species itself, which is just, they are, in my opinion, the king of the mountain as a species. And I don't mean that from a predatorial standpoint, obviously, but they are everything a mountain big hunter wants to see, dream about, read about, in my opinion, that exist. And then I would say, secondly, it's the environment which they live, right? I mean, I grew up at sea level. I mean, I tell these, when I'm getting ready to go on a sheep hunt, I'm communicating with the outfitter or the guides. And I mean, I do a lot of that. Sometimes I'll fly out to see them and meet them in the summer just to know them when I get off the plane. And, I mean, I've got sea level lungs and sea level legs. And so for me to be, I just did a stone sheep hunt in your backyard up in British Columbia. It's the most spectacular landscape environment I've ever seen in my life. And I was in awe. I was in pain, but I was in awe every second I spent in those mountains. And then I would say, thirdly, it's the camaraderie, the people that will listen to this podcast, the people in Reno at National, the people that we talk to about GIAs. It's just the family involvement of people from all lifestyles, all economic and social environments. It's just something to be a part of. And I wish I'd discovered it at 42, because some of these hunts hurt me bad physically. But that's just, it's the price you pay.
Yeah, absolutely. I see Rob cheers in there. Awesome. Okay, so you just talked about being in BC and being on a stone sheep hunt here. So tell us, well, I want to talk some sheep hunting here, and I want to hear from all 3 of you guys, but we'll start with you, Quiz. Tell us about your sheep experience and your decades long of mountain hunting experience for big sheep.
Well, let's see. It started, I went on my first hunt, which was a doll hunt in Alaska in the Wrangles. That was, I had open heart surgery 3 years ago on August 23rd. And I really wanted to harvest that sheep on August 23rd. I actually harvested it on August 24th. So that was in 2021, and on August 22nd, I harvested my Findall's stone sheep. So 362 days. That's how passionate I became about it.
That's pretty passionate. But talk me through it. So you started off August 23rd, 2021. What was that for, and where was it?
I was a doll in the Wrangels in Alaska, and I booked that hunt probably 2 weeks after I got off the boat talking to Doug. I'd never really heard about sheep hunting, didn't know anything about the species. So I spent, my evenings Googling and researching it, and networked through Doug and some other folks, and found who I thought was a decent outfitter, and booked that doll hunt. And then that was going to be in August, and then at the banquet for Eastern, which I was not in attendance for that first year, they pulled my tag for the Wyoming Governor's Tag Bighorn. And so, I literally, and I talked to the outfitter. He wanted me to come the first week, but the first week was while I was going to be in Alaska. So I went to Alaska, harvested a doll, flew home, washed my gear for 3 days, and flew to Wyoming, and went on a horseback bighorn hunt. And I'll tell you, you guys grew up in the mountains. You probably all grew up riding horses. I got on that horse, and in 5 minutes, he knew I didn't know what I was doing. It was quite hysterical for 5 days. So then that happened. So then I started thinking, well, I guess if I'm going to have two, I might as well try to get this Grand Slam thing. So I booked a hunt in Sonora, and had some issues with that, but it ended up working out. And so in March of 21, harvested a desert in Sonora. And then through the outfitter that I used in Wyoming, he actually came with the tag that I won. I started networking about a stone, and he is real good friends with one of the big outfitters in BC. They've known each other for 30 years. And he said, hey, if I've never been up there to hunt, so if you book a stone, I'll go with you. Not as a paid guide. I just want to go see their operation. I'll go with you. And again, for a guy that hunts in the mountains, and I'm a little older, and he's younger, and he's been hunting sheep for 30 years, I said, well, shoot, I might as well just do it. So I booked a hunt, and because he was going, they fit me in that year. And that's the rest of the story is 362 days for a Findall's.
That's pretty awesome. So it didn't start out a quest. You got off the boat with Doug, and you knew, okay, I want to do this. You booked the hunt 2 weeks later, so you just want to go sheep hunting. But then, had you not won that Wyoming tag, would you said, I'm doing this thing no matter what, or was that the catalyst? You're like, oh, I'm already there, I might as well go.
I will admit that the doll from that booked hunt might have been the only sheep I ever harvested. And then again, and I tell people through 2 different Wild Sheep Foundation chapters, working hand in hand, and me saying, I really am excited about this. I'm going to go ahead and buy some tickets. That gave me the bighorn. And then once I had that, then I had to go through with all of them.
So obviously you spent a little dough on some of these other hunts. Any regrets? Do you look back and go, oh, I should have not done that? You look back on it, no one ever regrets spending it, right? No, it's, you regret not doing it after. It's never, once it's done, you go, I should have done that.
Remember, this all started for me at 59. I'm 60, and that was the boat trip with Doug. But I didn't go on my first hunt for 2 years because, as you know, these hunts book out. So the analogy I'll give you is I'm 62, and I had an early man crush on Christy Alley, who, as you know, just passed away after finding out she had cancer in 60 days. So I don't regret spending $1 of that money. and I'm probably going to spend more.
Awesome.
I mean, what are you going to do with money when you're 85? Nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. You're not going sheep hunting, probably.
I want to look at sheep on my wall when I'm 85. Change my diapers and let me look at my sheep.
All right, Doug, let's talk about you. So, little lady luck there, I would say, like on this sheep tag for Wyoming for you, but equally as much for you, Doug. Talk a little bit about that your draw, and then, but let's back it up, because you did a bunch of sheep hunting before you even won a tag, right?
Yeah, well, I did a few hunts. My sheep quest started in 2015, and I booked Rocky Mountain Bighorn. I was fortunate enough to in Alberta, and was fortunate enough to get my first sheep. And then at that point, I'm unlike Quiz. After my first sheep, I'm like, I'm hooked. I'm ready to go. And I realized that I was going to have to take from my kids' college funds or do whatever I needed to do to get it done. But so in 2018, I actually went hunting with Rob for the first. We went on a dull sheep hunt in Bonnet Plume, and in 2019, I won that the FNOS from Eastern Chapter, but I'd split the ticket with my buddy. So he took the Dull Bighorn, and I took the Desert and Stone. So I ended up getting a desert sheep 2 years ago in Sonora, and then I've been a little strikey out on the Stone situation. So my win from Eastern Chapter was my third Stone sheep hunt. So I'm going on number 4. So if anybody, if we can find us a good Stone sheep outfitter, I sure would like to end that one on my 4th hunt for a Stone sheep, versus going on 5. But recently I took my son for his graduation present. We went to Kyrgyzstan in October a few months ago. Got a Marco Polo, and he got an Ibex, and we had a great time. And Kyrgyzstan is a sheep hunting / Ibex hunting high alpine hunt graduation gift to him. So it was a good time.
That's pretty cool. So you're still working on the Stone?
Yeah, the Stone's my elusive one. That's the one that's gonna. I got to get that one out of the way before it haunts my dreams every night. So.
Well, it's funny, and it's interesting. We talk to you guys, and there's no slam dunk with a guided hunt, right? A lot of people think, oh yeah, it's. But you got to earn it, and you've seen that, Quiz. That's remarkable that you're able to accomplish what you did in 362 days. But just it goes to show you the level of commitment and how hard it is. And there's so many challenges on all those hunts to accomplish that. So, do you have another hunt booked out, or one in mind right now, Doug, or what's going on?
I'll tell you what. It's I got one this fall, and I'm willing to book more. So, hey, I will subsequently back a Stone sheep hunt with another Stone sheep hunt. At this point, I'm 4 in. I'm gonna be 4 in. I might as well go 5 in and just hunt a month straight and try to get it done, because I'm so close.
Just gonna say, you talk about thinking that you book with an outfitter, it's going to be a done deal. So my Stone sheep hunt was a 7-day hunt. And I took my better 3/4 with me, and she has gone with me on a lot of hunts, and she's actually really good on a horse. She had a blast. But so on day 8, she flew home, and because I was the last hunter, there wasn't any hunters the week after. They let me stay until I harvested my sheep. So I harvested my sheep on the 12th day. So it wasn't a layup. By day 11, I almost felt acclimated.
Yeah, absolutely no giveaways there, right? It's it's still a darn tough job to do to harvest sheep and get out there, and certainly no giveaways with a guided hunt for sure. All right, Rob, let's hear your story. Where are you at? Where you sit? You're working on your second FNOS probably, eh?
Man, do I wish. I mean, I can tell you that the mountain bug bit me when I went for my mountain goat hunt many years ago, and I'm sitting in my trophy room looking at it right now, and it's just it's a great memory. And after that, it was a number of years, and as Doug said, we went Dall sheep hunting, and I shot a good ram, and it wasn't. I won't say it wasn't much of a sheep hunt. It was what a sheep hunt you would expect, maybe, but it wasn't what he had. My sheep hunt was, we found our rams before the season even opened. Day 1, they were bedded in a bad spot. Day 2, they came right where they should have, and I shot my ram. Day 3, we crawled off the mountain. Day 3.5, we went up a creek bed about 5 miles, shot a mountain caribou, or actually no, it was a barren ground caribou, but we shot him in the mountains, and that was my first sheep hunt. My second sheep hunt is actually due to be had February 1st of 2023. So we're going to go down to Mexico and hopefully shoot my desert, and then we'll continue after it after there. I've been in touch with gentlemen in I guess it would be Alberta for my for my bighorn, and I still have to sort out my stones. So we'll see how we do. I'm going to keep after it until we get her all done. So it's always fun to chase after anyway.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to go back to you for a second here, Doug, and if you could talk a little bit about a lot of guys do this international hunting now, right? And a lot of these hunts, you look at a stone sheep hunt, they're getting pretty expensive these days, but bighorns are too. So a lot of people are, economically will go on some, and then there's obviously some overseas hunts that are quite pricey as well, depending on what you're after. But, what was the experience like for you being overseas? Did you enjoy that stuff? Or, obviously you guys have FNAWs or, getting your slam on the radar, but what was it like doing that international stuff?
Well, I guess I've been hunting internationally for 10 years now, 10 or 12. But, I will say this, the prices are definitely different than they are in North America. So it actually becomes just a little bit more affordable when you go out of the country. I did have a snow sheep booked in Russia for this year, but that one kind of got a little delayed due to other political reasons. But, the international hunting, I find to be very intriguing. What's great about the sheep world is that no matter what country in, all the people are the same. And so when we get to, for instance, I took my son to Kyrgyzstan, like I just said, when we get to those countries, everybody has the same passion. We all have the same drive, and we all enjoy the same things. It's not, there's no cultural difference in our likes and habits and what we're doing. In fact, it's more of a be cliche and say a bonding experience between us and the people that we meet. But it's a great way to learn a culture and learn the people, and sharing the common thread of sheep hunting or whatever you're hunting in that country, for that matter, doesn't matter. We found, I've had my son to Zimbabwe and some other places as well, both around the world. And no matter where we go, we always come back with the same thing. The people are just like us. The only difference is they just live in a different country. And, we can get involved in all the political things that happen in different countries, but in the end, we're all the same. And that's what it's really opened up to our eyes through the years and through these trips that we've taken is, hey, we all share the same common thread of life and our passion for hunting or whatever in that world. So the international hunting has been a great blessing on me and my family as far as that goes. And so I wouldn't trade it for the world. I would encourage anyone to get out and don't be afraid to go out. It's safe. There's no safety concerns. Your outfitter's booked with a reputable outfitter, and just go. Again, big key term is reputable outfitter. Go through people that, through the Sheep Foundation, we deal with those guys, and I'm sure your chapter has too for years, same people. Just books you through the right agents, and I can guarantee you're going to have the time of your life and learn about a new culture at the same time.
Yeah, well said, Doug. And I think that's a bit of our pitch for certainly the Eastern Show and for National to Sheep Week, right? If you're thinking about doing some of these hunts, it's reputable outfitters that are going to be at these shows. They're vetted ahead of time, and we've seen, unfortunately, a few over the years that you shouldn't be hunting with and you shouldn't be booking with. So certainly worth doing your homework on, and certainly, talking to the leadership at Eastern or Sheep Week or any of the chapter and affiliates and just getting some references is definitely worth it. You might find a deal, but there's probably a reason for that deal if you're not careful. So yeah, I think that's really sage advice. Did your son kill an ibex on that trip, or did he get his grad harvest in, or what happened?
He did. He killed an ibex on the second day we were there, and he had never shot a rifle over I don't think over 200 yards, and he shot his ibex at 500. Oh, wow. Awesome. So thanks to Griffin and Hal, got to plug them while they're on here. Big supporter of the Eastern chapter. They had my rifle dialed in for me through some stuff, but it was very. And let me tell you something: if you've never seen the smile on a kid's face, he's 20 years old. I can tell you one thing: it's something he'll never forget, and it is something I'll never forget as a father. But I think the greatest experience during that trip was not the day he killed an ibex, but we had what we called a sheep day during that trip, where we did the old 1,500 vertical feet climb straight up the mountain, and a group of ibex that we were hunting. He'd already killed out, so he was just with me, and we got to the top, and of course they winded us. It was gone. They were just gone. Bottom line is we spent 3 hours hiking, 4 hours hiking up this thing, and in 10 minutes it was over. And we were all, we started to go back down. We were all just exhausted, physically done. And I'll never forget, he looked around, he said, "Dad, I'm a little bit nervous," because we had to go through the cliffs, and he's not a heights kid. And so anyway, we got through all that, and we got to the bottom. And as a father, looking at your son, when we got to the bottom, he said something I never thought I'd hear him say. He looked back up where we hiked from and everything we've been through, and he goes, "Dad, that's the greatest thing I've ever done in my life." And we did not kill a thing that day. All we did was run ourselves in the ground. And I think that's what sheep hunting is about when I really look at it, and alpine hunting, whichever way you want to put it. It's experiences like that push us all. And my son pushed himself that day, and that showed him a lot more than I could ever teach him. So that's the great experience of taking your children and doing things like that. So
yeah, very cool. Rob?
Yeah, and I think what Doug just said is 110% spot on. So this last year, I took my kids. Again, my kids are young. They're 2, 7, 11 years old, so very, very young. But we took them to Camp Bighorn, and that's out in Wyoming at the National Bighorn Sheep Center puts it on. And after that trip was done, we didn't do anything per se, right? We had hiked a bunch. They saw a lot of stuff. They learned a lot of stuff. Mycology, they saw things that they never would have seen out east. And independently, my 11-year-old and 7-year-old both came to me at different times and said, "Daddy, that was the very best trip we've been on." And I think that's what it's all about, right? I mean, like Doug said, his son captured it in that moment. Like, we didn't kill anything, but what an experience. And my kids did the exact same thing. And it really is that's what, again, we weren't sheep hunting. When I went out to the National Bighorn Sheep Center and the Whiskey Mountain Conservation Camp, it wasn't about sheep hunting. It was about experience. It was about immersing yourself in the time that you're there. And for as little as it was, and I'm not belittling it, it was simple, but it was amazing. And the kids harnessed it. They got it. It was a different type of experience. And I think, for my 2 older kids, the 2-year-old is still too young to get any of it. But for the 2 older kids, they understood a bit more about conservation, and they understood a bit more about the experience and why it matters.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, huge. Steve's quiet there, but I know his daughter Kaylee is just avid. She's 10 years old. She's got her. Does she have her hunting license yet?
Not yet. She's been studying like a maniac, but yeah, she, as you know, she comes out with me every chance she gets, and has done since Mom would let her go in the truck with me with a bottle and diapers. But God, I think it was her fifth birthday maybe. I said, "What do you want to do today for her birthday?" She's born at the end of September, and she says, "I want to go hunting, fishing, and trapping, and then berry picking." We got to do all in the one day, and yeah, she loves it. She knows where her food comes from, and yeah, I'm stoked she wants to get her license hopefully this year in time to get a spring bear. So that's her favorite. So yeah.
So Steve, if I come and visit you, I want to go hunting, fishing, and trapping. Just FYI.
Anytime, doors open.
Talk about a spoiled little kid. I say that I love your daughter, Steve. But, yeah, I just want to do those 3 things today. That's all I want to do. So that's pretty cool. So awesome. Okay, so I know we're getting deep in the podcast here. Before we wrap up, let's talk a little bit about membership. So you want to get involved with Eastern. You want to support Wild Sheep. Let's talk a little bit about becoming a member, becoming a life member, becoming a Pinnacle member. I'm proud to say I'm a life member of the Eastern. Love what you guys do. Love your supporting you guys. Let's talk membership a little bit, please.
Yeah, so our membership, the life membership I think is $500. The Pinnacle Life membership, which is the kind of the apex of our membership at this point, is $1,000. The benefit of being both a life member and Pinnacle Life member, we actually do annual drawings, right? Typically, you have to be there to be able to win what we put off, but it's perennial. So you could be there on any given year and just say, hey, look, I'm here. I have an opportunity. So our life members, they get 1 opportunity. This year, what we're doing is our Pinnacle Life members get 4 opportunities to win our drawing. So it's a lot more of the odds for Pinnacle membership are a lot higher. We also have a life member luncheon that we do on the Friday. This year, it's for a floor credit for our both our exhibit hall and our auction, and the life and Pinnacle Life member drawing is going to be for a mountain lion hunt with it's Dan Adler and those guys are giving us a 10-year window to use for a mountain lion hunt. So it's a pretty cool situation. And I've hunted Coues deer with them. It was top notch. It was all business, very successful, and a lot of fun. And obviously, our membership is our backbone, and they are what makes the chapter tick. So obviously, continue to support, continue to just get involved, and we're happy to have you in the family.
Awesome. Quiz, talk to me about membership. Why is it so important? You're buying all these memberships with all these other chapter and affiliates. So why are you doing this?
I think that there are things in this world that, especially the United States, that deserve to be not just recognized, but kept going and bettered for the future. And I think that as we all know, wild sheep, from a biological standpoint and a disease standpoint, need to be protected. And once you get involved in this, once you've been up there and you've watched them, once you've sat behind your binoculars and watched a group of sheep, whether there's something in that group you want to harvest or not, but just watch them, and they're a majestic creature, all of the species. And I think it's a way for me to contribute to conservation for something that I'm very passionate about. And I think that each chapter, they have their own projects, they have their own benefits to raise money. But I think that I can't do a lot of that. As I've said to you guys on and off this podcast, I mean, I'd love to come to your events every year, but I can't get to them. So to me, a life membership is a way to help support the work that they're doing, whether it's in their own backyard or whether they're distributing the success of what they raise financially across the North America continent.
Eastern's a great chapter, and certainly support you guys and love what you're doing. And I said this on the last podcast that we couldn't get to air, and I'll say it again. So for the first 3 people that go and buy an Eastern, what was the deal? They got to buy 3 to Eastern. I'll buy 3 to Wild Sheep BC. Is that what I was doing, or is the other way around? Yeah, okay. So that's the deal. So the first 3 people that sign up to Eastern for a regular membership, sorry, I'm not doing life memberships, I'll reciprocate and buy you one for a BC. So that's the trade-off. And if nobody buys any, then I guess I'll have to pinnacle up. So that's the plan. So, Rob, you said you'll communicate with me those names, and we'll be sure to get those out there. So, so 2 for the price of 1. And Steve, you mentioned this, and it's inspiring about paying it forward, right? And I think it's pretty cool and I see a lot of that too. And I don't get me wrong, I'm not a benevolent person, but I see other people doing it. It inspires you, right? You see other people that buy memberships and support other organizations, and it's pretty cool. And I know there's a lot of that in our Wild Sheep family. And for me, it's a great opportunity to introduce people to the great work that all these organizations are doing, and just such a great spirit of one tent, one campfire in our Wild Sheep family. So I think with that, we've taken a big chunk of your night, so we're going to get some closing remarks, and we'll go to Mr. President. Rob.
Hey, so before we close out, I just wanted to thank you guys. I know we're doing these spotlight, auctions on our, at our event, and I know you guys have been kind enough to donate the BC Wild Country Outfitters Black Bear Hunt, and that will be working in concert with a specific GIA with BC. We've got a number of those going on, and those specific auctions will be supporting specific grants and aid, and those are going to be super important to us. Those are the partnerships that we're looking to build upon, and really in our future we're looking to continue to develop and blossom so they can become bigger in years ahead. So again, we're super appreciative of BC. We're super appreciative of you guys, and again look very much forward to working together in the years ahead.
Likewise, Robin. I think that's the thing is, we want to support you guys. You guys have been so generous over the years to us, and it's so important that we can try and reciprocate back. So, we've got that generous donation. It's a bear hunt at a Smithers. It's going to be a great hunt, and we'll look for that on your guys' auction. And you guys run online hunting auctions, right? You run that through your platform, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. We'll have Friday night, Saturday afternoon auctions, and all that's available online. It's all available, obviously, in person. So it's always a great time.
Yeah, and that's a great hunt too, for sure. So awesome, Steve, Doug. Any parting thoughts before we let you guys get back to your evening?
Well, I'll jump in and just say that my venture into Wild Sheep Foundation on various levels has not just been a monetary commitment, it's been a time commitment. And I think that you guys have a lot of political things going on in Canada. We have political things going on here in the U.S. And I think that protecting both the natural resources of land, the natural resources of game, at all levels, whether it's a eastern turkey or a bighorn sheep in Alberta, or a stone sheep, which is probably one of the ones that need to be protected the most in British Columbia. I think we all need to do our part, and I think that there's rewards at all levels for that, right? There's personal satisfaction, there's rewards of seeing a vision for the future, and there's rewards of the camaraderie of your buddy winning a hunt that you didn't win, but he's taking you on. So I just think it's a great thing to get involved in at any level you can afford the time or the money. And I know you guys are very welcoming in BC, and we're very welcoming on the Eastern chapter.
Awesome. Really well said, for sure. Doug, anything?
Yeah, I just have one thing, and I'll say, we focus on raising money and donating money in these programs, but we can't forget to focus on the next generation and getting them out there and exposed to these hunts and exposed to what being in the outdoors is versus, sitting behind a TV playing video games or whatever. So I would encourage everybody, to take a kid, Bring them to a show, if you know them or not, but just get them out there, get them in the woods, get them in the wilderness, educate them before somebody else that doesn't support what we do educates them. Because if they see what is really out there, they will be behind what we're doing 100%, because we're actually the true conservationists. So just remember to take a kid hunting. It's the old school saying, just take a kid hunting. That's the best thing we can do.
Yeah, awesome. Well said. Rob?
Yeah, and to echo what Doug said, and I know he's said it before, maybe not on this podcast, but other times I've heard him say it, our families have gone hunting together. I've got an 11-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 2-year-old. And Doug, your kids are what, 21? You can correct me on the ages, but 21, probably 15 or 16, and whatever. He's got 3 boys as well, but they're older than my kids. And when we go to a hunting camp together and we spend that time together, you wouldn't know that they were that far in age apart. They have a great time. And the kids have a great time immersed in nature, immersed in the experience, immersed in just having fun outside. And I know Doug's 21. Oldest boy, Lane, is probably, what, Doug, 21, 22 years old at this time. And my 21. My oldest daughter's 11. And the two of them, they can ride on the side-by-side for an hour and a half, 2 hours together. The two of them will have an absolute scream and absolute tear together. And it just doesn't matter, because they're having a good time outdoors with each other. And I think that's, at the end of the day, what all of this is all about. It's about brotherhood, it's about loyalty, it's about conservation, and it's about just spending time in the places and spaces that we all hold so dear. And we have to make sure that those things exist many years down the road for not our kids, not our grandkids, but their grandkids. So
Yeah, really well said. It's funny, we do these podcasts, and we had to redo this one, but the theme was completely different, right? We talked about something completely different, but it's something just equally as important, and really cool theme tonight, and love it for sure. So, gentlemen, I cannot thank you enough for your time, and really excited about Sheep Week. All 3 of you guys going?
Yes, I'll see you there.
Yep, I'll be in on Friday.
Yeah, it should be a good one, and pretty stoked about it. And then we, of course, we got all our shows coming up, and you guys are, you said, 3rd week of February?
Yeah, February 17th and 18th.
Okay, people can get tickets over. Give us the address there, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely. If you visit www.ecwsf.org, right on there, if you go to the convention link, the tickets are all available online. If you get in before, I think it's December 31st, you get the early bird pricing, which is discounted. So we'd love to see everybody there.
Thank you, gentlemen, so much for your evening tonight, and look forward to seeing you next month in Reno.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks, gents.
Thank you very much.